My name is John Ferguson. I'm the owner of Nature's Way Resources. We're a commercial composting company, recycling organic waste and turning it back into useful products. As we look at soil science, the modern methods based on soil biology, what we call the organic methods or biological methods, we've learned they work better, cheaper, easier than using toxic chemicals. When we get the soil healthy using these products, plants use a lot less water. It's a WaterSmart gardening technique. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And mulch. Behind me you see a grinder. It starts with the branches and limbs from tree trimmers. When people prune the shrubs in their yard, they trim the branches and limbs on the right-of-way lines. We take it and we grind it up to these huge machines back here and make what we call native mulch. Native mulch is the highest quality you can buy. So as this stuff composts, it shrinks and it captures all the nutrients and material and concentrates it. So when you put it on your flower beds, then as it rots and continues to decompose, it feeds the soil naturally. And it's food for the beneficial life in the soil, the microbes, the bacteria, the fungus, the protozoa, earthworms. But it all starts with mulch. The second part of the operation, in addition to the mulch, is the compost. We recycle grass and leaves. We get vegetative food waste. We mix in a little horse manure and bedding. Compost made without manure is worthless, but we only take certain type of manures. The one thing a gardener, if they want to have a healthy yard, is don't use any high salt product. So we don't use poultry manure because of salt and the arsenic levels in poultry manure, and we don't use cow manure because of high salt. But horse manure, the studies done by the EPA and the USDA back in the 80s show it's one of the single best manures you can put into compost, and enriching it with good beneficial microbes. Also, we have to add water to piles. For proper composting to occur, you got to have 50% moisture content. It's kind of like a wet sponge. If you squeeze it real hard and you get that last drop out, here on the big piles, gravity pulls the excess water out. Very similar to what happens in a fireplace. We get energy given off, heat and light. The same thing happens in the compost pile, except it's bacteria and fungus combine the carbon with oxygen, but you get the same amount of energy, so the piles get very hot. So these piles will be over 170 degrees Fahrenheit for months on end. That heat kills all your weed seeds, kills all your pathogens, and allows the beneficial microbes to grow to very high densities in it. Okay, the next step in the process, we compost the materials, the mulch, the compost, anywhere from 9 months to almost 2 years, depending on which product we're looking at. It's naturally a deep chocolate brown mulch due to the composting action. It's full of vitamins, minerals, things to make plants grow, and it's just a very high quality mulch. One of the best uses for compost is on turf grass. On our St. Augustine lawn, a common disease we get is brown patch or St. Augustine decline, takeoff. If a person will use an organic fertilizer like AgriLife and get away from the artificial fertilizers and put a quarter to half inch of compost on their grass every year, they'll never get those diseases and they'll have the best looking yard in town. The benefit of that is each year you do that, your soil will get deeper and your roots will get deeper. I've seen St. Augustine roots over time that go down 4 or 5 feet in people's yards and they never have to water at all. Okay, here we are with some finished compost ready to sell. You notice it's been raining today, so it has almost a black color. If we dried it out in the sun, it'd be a deep chocolate brown. It has a very rich earthy odor. Good compost does not smell bad. It smells like the forest floor. It's very rich and crumbly. If you take it, if you notice here on my fingertips how it smears and turns it brown, that's the humus in it. Humus could hold 15 times its weight in water. So it's amazing when you put it in your soil how it increases the water holding capacity. So when it rains, it doesn't wash off. It's held in the soil till plants need it. Again, WaterSmart. So by using compost, not only do you save water, get healthier plants, you don't need toxic chemicals or artificial fertilizers that pollute our bios and streams, and you save money. I mean, why not do it? It just works so much better.
Check out watersmart.tamu.edu for more ways you can be WaterSmart.
And if you're composting at home, would you scream? I do. What I do at my home, I got a couple compost bins in my backyard. On my wheelbarrow, I took a 2x4 frame, bought some hardware cloth, 1/2 inch minus, hardware cloth, stapled it on my staple gun. And so when it's close to being ready, I just shovel it on there, take my hand and rub it, and the stuff that's finished falls through. The big pieces go back into the pile. Yeah, one of the problems, most people at home don't make their piles big enough to heat up, or they don't have the correct balance of green and brown materials. But my home compost piles, they average about 4 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet roughly. And I get up to 140, 150 degrees, more than enough to kill weed seeds. One, obviously, water savings. All plants grow better when you have compost on them. We use it as a soil amendment. You know, our better soil mixes have, third compost in them. If you look at gardening textbooks, they often say 3 parts soil to 1 part compost. When we have a good compost mulch layer, it filters the rainwater. Any pollution in it's removed. It cleans it before it goes into the water table or runs off. Chemicals like antifreeze or oil grease, or the microbes eat it like candy. Remember the Exxon Valdez, how they treat it? Got bacteria on their microbes. So people often ask, when's the best time to apply compost and mulch? Probably theoretically for most plants is in the fall. When does nature mulch the forest? So, but most people do it in the spring because they want to get outside and do something after the winter. You can do it either way, but but fall is a great time. And for a really serious gardener who want the best results, you do it in the fall and the spring.
Check out watersmart.tamu.edu for more ways you can be water smart.